Hello everybody. So today in discussion we will discuss about what are the motivation theories. Okay, we have already known about what is motivation, what are the main meaning of motivation. So in simply I will just want to remind that motivation means to direct or to move a particular individual towards a particular stimulus or a goals. It might be self-influential, that is within the individual, or might be from certain factors that are pushing an individual towards a particular goal. So today in this discussion, in this presentation, we are going to discuss about different types of motivation theory. So first of all, in this discussion, we'll discuss what is content theory, what are the process theories, and the types of content theory, and listing the name of the process theory and the different types of content theories. In this discussion, we'll mainly focus on the different types of content theories, and lastly, we'll go to the comparative summarization of the content theory. So before proceeding to the different types of content theory, different types of process theory, first we have to know clearly what are the content theories, what is usually mean by content theories, and what are the process theory. Mainly the differentiation between both content and the process theory. So first of all, in content theory, content models of motivation focus on what's of the motivation. That is, content theories mainly focus on what to be motivated. Okay, that it doesn't mean that person or individual is how to motivate it. It mainly focus on what to motivate it. It mainly focus on the internal factors and energize and direct human behavior. That is, it focus on what are the main interests, point of interest, main area of factors that needs to be motivated. That is internal factors. So by focusing on the internal factors, it help us to energize, it help us to give more motivation and direct human behavior. Okay, the third point is they are considered maintenance factor. That is, the internal factors are considered as the maintenance factor that are necessary, that is much necessary to avoid dissatisfaction. That is, these internal factors or the maintenance factors, if easily motivated or easily directed, they can be helpful to avoid dissatisfaction, but that by themselves do not provide satisfaction. That is, only those internal factors does not simply provide satisfaction. However, by molding that internal factors, or by enforcing those internal factors with some certain environmental factors, will help them to avoid dissatisfaction. So the main point I want to mention over there is that content theories mainly focus on the internal factors or the motivation maintenance factors that are within the individual or within that particular person. Okay, so next is the process theory. Process theory of motivation focus on the hows of the motivation. Easily, content theories focus on what to be motivated, and process theory focus on how those internal factors or those maintenance factors could be motivated. That is the process, the way, and the technique that are used in this theory. Okay, instead of focusing on what people need, that is, instead of focusing on those internal factors, those motivating factors, these models, that is the process theory model, focus on the psychological and behavioral process of that human follows. For example, we take two students, student A and student B. Student A usually find out the point where the student is interested. That is, A is much interested in physics. Then the student will mainly focus on studying the subject physics. Okay, but in B, when we apply process theory, we does not focus on what is being interested by particular student B. We will find out that even though the individual or the student B is not interested in history, physics, or any subject, we will find out certain ways that will help to motivate that particular student B towards the achieving a target or towards a goal. That is called the process theory. Content theory focus on what's to be motivated, and process theory focus on how to motivate it using those internal factors as well as environmental factors. Okay. And the third point under process theory states that focus on the mechanism by which we choose a target. Here, process theory we choose a particular target or a goal, and the effort, that is the hard working or the process, that how we could motivate a particular individual to receive that target, that we exert to hit the target. Okay, content theory mainly doesn't focus on much on the productivity. It focus much on what are those internal factors which we could motivate it and help them to get a particular goal. But in process theory, besides the what, they usually focus on how to motivate that particular individual. Okay, clear with this? Content theory focus on what, process theory focus on the hows. So further, now we'll go to the different types of the content theory and the process theory. First of all is the content theory. Under content theory, there are different types of content theories. I will mention it one by one. First one is the Maslow hierarchy of needs theory. As we already aware with this name, Maslow hierarchy of needs. Second point is the Herzberg two-factor theory. The third one is the Alderfer's ERG theory. Fourth one is the MC Cleland's three needs theory, and the fifth one is MC Gradual X and Y theory. Okay, the MC Gradual X and Y theory is a kind of content theory which are much used, mainly used in the management. That is in the management way, that is where the management, the employer and employee need to be motivated. Okay, but however, I will try to explain it here in a simple way. Okay, clear? So now we'll go to the types of the process theory. Under process theory, altogether we have importantly 9 types of, almost 8 to 9 types of process theory. But today, while we're discussing about the different types of process theory in the next discussion, we will be mainly focusing on 4 main types. Those 4 main types of process theory are Skinner reinforcement theory, which are usually initiated in 1930s. Next is Bloom's expectancy theory, 1960s. Adams equity theory, 1960s, and Locke's goal setting theory, which is also introduced in 1960. These 4 main theory are discussed under process theory. Beside these, we have certain other 5 other main process theory. They are the characteristic approach, arousal or cognitive evaluation theory, the attitude theory, and the self-efficacy theory. These four theories are not much of a importance in psychology or in our field of interest. However, I will try to mention in a brief way in the next discussion. So today we are going to discuss about what is the different type of content. First point is the Maslow hierarchy of needs. In Maslow hierarchy of needs, we already know that there is a hierarchical order, or in a systematic way. That is the first point, we have to achieve the first point. Second, after achieving that first point, we have to move towards the second point. After that, third one, and fourth one, and automatically the fifth one. So Maslow hierarchy of needs is a pyramid of the need that motivate people. It is a hierarchical way, and it usually motivates the people. Okay, individual most basic needs at the base of the pyramid. Pyramid is usually a shape of, we already know that pyramid is usually set with a triangle shape. Okay, and those basic needs, that is also known as physiological or biological needs, are placed at the base level. And once they have fulfilled these needs, that is the base physiological needs, people move on to the next level, that is the safety needs, social well-being, then next to self-esteem, and then ultimately their need for self-actualization is at the top level of the uh, Maslow hierarchy of needs pyramid. Okay, so Abraham Maslow's theory is one of the earliest and the most well-known theories of motivation. It is proposed by Abraham Maslow and one of the most primitive or earliest uh, theory of motivation. It's often saw as a triangle or pyramid. It focuses primarily on what motivates people. As we know, the content theories usually focus on what to be motivated. Similarly, as same goes for the Maslow hierarchy of needs, this theory focuses primarily on what motivates people, not the process, how they are going to achieve this thing, but what they are going to achieve when a person get the first one, how what they must be achieved in the second level, through which they are motivated. This theory was first proposed in 1940s, but first fully expressed in 1950s. Okay, clear. So in the next slide, I will depict you in very diagrammatic way. So please be pay attention. Okay. So the first one is what I have already told, that the physiological or the biological needs. And the physiological and biological needs include the food, sleep, and water. For example, let's take a beggar. We in India we have lots of beggars aside the roadside in slum areas also. Those people, those unfortunate people, usually when they open their eyes in the morning, they usually start to seek for the food, after that water, food and water, and after that they usually try to seek for somewhere where they could rest. Okay, that is a biological needs. That is the first step of needs that every individual thrive. Okay, after achieving this point, that is biological or physiological needs, they move up to the second stage, that is safety. That is, they must see somewhere some safety place where they could rest at night, where they must not feel hot, they must not feel cold in winter, must not feel too hot in the summer, must not be attacked by any animals or any prey and any individual. So this second one basic needs is the safety, and it's include security, health, and finances. Clear? And the third point, after achieving the safety needs, biological needs, after achieving the safety needs, an individual will move towards love and belonging needs, which is also a kind under psychological. Under love and belonging, it includes friendship, intimacy towards opposite sex, family, must have a well cared family connections. Okay, after an individual have achieved this love and belongingness, automatically the individual will try to achieve the next level, that is esteem. Esteem means the respect, status, recognition, strength, and self-esteem. Okay, after an individual achieving next by next, and after individual achieve this fourth stage, that is the esteem, they will automatically attempt to achieve this higher level of needs, which is known as self-actualization. This is only directed towards self-fulfillment. It's neither of the family, of the friends, of the loved ones. It is only focusing on an individual self-fulfillment. And under this self-actualization, it includes meeting one's full potential in life, different for every person. That is, an individual will try to have a different attitude, different personality for each and every individual. So it is in a hierarchical way. That is, first of all, they will try to fulfill the biological or physiological needs. Next, they will go up to the safety. After this, after they have achieved enough safety for his own self, then they move to the love and belonging, try to have friendship, try to have intimate partner relationship, family connections. After that, they will move to the self-esteem. That is, they will try to gain some enough respect, status, recognition in the environment, whether in the school, in the working areas, or in the locality. And after this, they will move to the higher level of needs, that is the self-actualization. Okay, next, after this Maslow hierarchy of needs, the second theory we are going to discuss, theory X and Y. It's mainly focused on the management status. However, I'll explain here. First of all, in theory X and theory Y, it is proposed by MC Gerger theory, and it is one of those theories that comprise much influence on both the management, or that is the employer and the employee. There are two theories, theory X and theory Y. In theory X, what happened that an individual is being influenced or being pushed from the backward by another individual. For example, it usually involves strict supervision. That is, it needs strict supervision to achieve that particular goal. Additional rewards are being needed. That is, if you do this thing in 5 days or in 3 days, I will give you salary increment of 5,000, additional rewards, and extra penalty. And if you are not able to do this work by this given time frame, then you will be given penalties. Such thing exists in this theory X. Okay, and in this theory X usually amplify to those employer or those individual who doesn't have adequate concentration at the work, or who does not want to do that work, and they are usually forced to do it. Okay, And in theory, why? Here the individual have passion about this work, have interest in particular work, have want to do their work independently, not depending upon their work, have a particular time frame whether they have to complete this work in this particular time, they have to complete this particular achievement. All these things are exist in theory. Okay, so in next slide I will explain you in a very simple way. In theory X, people need close supervision. Okay, will avoid work when possible. When there is no supervision, they will try to scaffold the particular work. Will avoid responsibility. Okay, that they desire only money. They look only the benefit of his own self. People must be pushed to perform. But in theory, why? What happened? People want independence. Okay, people seek responsibility. They are much responsible that for the laws, for the benefit, for the penalties they have to fulfill, and people are motivated by self-fulfillment. Okay, in the fourth point, people naturally want to work. Yes, actually it happened. They are much patient, they have much interest to work in which they are given for, and people will drive themselves to work. Okay, this is simple, the theory X and theory Y, theory of MC Gregor. Clear? So today in the last theory, I would like to explain you about the Herzberg two-factor theory. Okay, in theory X and Y also there are two factors. In this Herzberg theory, there is also two factors. One is the motivating factor, and second one is the hygienic factor. Please consider the second point. Herzberg used the phrase motivating factors to describe that things which, when present, have the ability to make individuals satisfy or even likely safety and salary to prevent dissatisfaction at work. These are those factors which, when present, have the individual to provide satisfaction. Okay. For example, salary, like safety, medical fitness safety, the, employment safety, all these things which are much needed and must be present to make an individual satisfied. Okay, these are known as the motivating factors. The second factor is the hygienic factors. These factors whose absence, it doesn't mean that this present must is needed, but when there it is absent, it makes an individual unsatisfied or unhappy. Okay, so motivating factors not only simply not seen when having alone doesn't uh, motivate an individual. For able to motivate an individual, there must some certain hygienic factors that will help an individual satisfied and happy. Okay, in next slide I would like to explain in very simple way. In the upper and the left of, we have weak hygiene and strong motivating factors. For example, in an environment we have a weak hygienic factors and a strong motivating factors. Here what happened, employees are unsatisfied even though there is strong motivating factors also. When the hygienic factors is weak, employees are unsatisfied as their hygienic needs have not been satisfied. Clear? But when there is both weak hygiene as well as weak motivating factors, automatically employees are satisfied because their hygienic factors are not been satisfied. Clear? But when there is both strong hygienic and strong motivating factors, employees are highly satisfied, highly productive, highly enthusiastic to work their own work. Automatically it happens when there is strong hygienic as well as strong motivating factors. The employees are very happy, very self-content, very passionate, and they will work towards a particular goal, very highly productive. But when there is strong hygienic factors, even though there is weak motivating factors, okay, weak motivating factors, strong hygienic factors, employee are neutrally satisfied and thus neutrally productive. So as a whole, in this theory, what the psychologists want to focus is that even though there are motivating factors in strong supportive way or in weak supportive way, we need certain hygienic factors to make an employee, to make an individual work satisfied, to make an employee very much productive, happy, and self-content. Okay, so this is the next factor, next theory, that is the two-factor theory. Okay, mm, So today we have discussed three main content theories. First one is the master hierarchy of need. Second one is the theory X and theory Y, and the third one is the two-factor theory. Besides these, there are three more content theories which we will be discussing in the next discussion. Okay, so to motivate an individual, there are certain theories which we need to which we implement in a particular environment, and for this we have to discuss, we have to know the certain factors. For example, the internal factors or the maintenance factor, where we could implement, and we must identify certain theories which we could implement to motivate a particular individual. Okay, so life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. That is, to maintain your life balancing throughout the process, you must keep moving. That is, you must be keep motivated towards a particular goal. Okay, so that is all for today's discussion, and we will be back in the next discussion with the leftover content theory and the process theory. Thank you and have a nice day.